Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we will take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The next one is titled, Lady Decides I Need to Help Her and Her Son Load a Dresser because I'm parked 2 spots away from them. So today, I'm at Costco getting my meds, minding my own business. A lady and her son bought one of the dressers that Costco is selling. Fine, all good. They actually look pretty good. Mum decides that the 2 of them can get it in the car and refuses help despite the 2 of them basically being the living embodiment of sticks. I mean, anything's possible, right? We all made it out through the queue to get outside and they are about 810 steps behind me. Mum and son are bickering because son knows she's not strong enough to lift aside. Mum won't have it. I get closer to my car, only to find a young family struggling with a little 2-year-old refusing to go in its seat. Inconvenient given it's 95 before the heat-reflecting properties of asphalt, but whatever, and I'm not in a rush. Kids will be the monsters they will be. Mum and son try to lift the dresser to no dice and to my immense humor. I've had to deal with her at work before and she isn't the nicest person. Sadly, she recognized me at some point and demands I get over here and help my son load this. I pretended not to hear her and went about watching this child just duck with this dad trying to buckle him in. 10 out of 10 would watch again with popcorn. Mum decides to tap my shoulder to get my attention. Q, help my son load this dresser again. No, as my answer isn't taken well and she had a freak out moment. Even so far to threaten to return the tree she bought from us because I was being rude. Good luck with that, lady. You and your son can't lift a 150-pound dresser. Good luck lifting that 800-pound autumn blaze maple that's now had plenty of time to root in. I finally look at son and see his obvious shame that his mum is acting a lot like the 2-year-old not wanting to go into the car seat. Agree to help the kid, so long as mum doesn't touch it because she will tip the box too much. Gotta keep in mind I'm 6 feet 2 inches with a 6 feet 6 inches wingspan. I know, ducking monkey arms, and a bit of a brute from shifting many 300,700-pound trees by hand. We lift the dresser into the truck bed without too much issue, despite the fact I took about all the weight. Mum then decided I need to follow them home to help offload the dresser. Hell no, lady. Hell no. It was a big enough of an IDWHL moment to even load the thing, let alone ending up back at your house to offload it. The dad finally managed to get the baby buckled up and I hopped in my car and drove off. Ended up that she called my job, complained that I was rude and not helpful. Sales staff know I'm off on Mondays, my only day off after all, and ask what about. Lady I guess decided to admit that she was trying to bully me into helping her and it got laughed off. Can't wait to see what comes of this. Cheers mad lads and mad lasses dealing with these issues. The next one is titled, Karen Thinks My Mother-in Works as a Secretary. The cast consists of Mill mother-in-law Karen, mean lady who I'm unsure if she's really named Karen but she looks like one. Mimi secretary, really nice lady who really does work there. Story, so I was into physio before COVID and I had to have my Mill drive me, but we also had to bring my son, too. I was in for my appointment and Mill was watching my son in the waiting room. My son was wandering around and got behind the counter. Mill went after him to get him to play where he's supposed to. A lady, who we will call Karen, walks in and say, "Excuse me, I need to book an appointment." Right as my mother-in-law stood up. The lady then saw the kid. Karen, why the hell would you bring a baby to work? Mill, I don't work here. Karen, don't lie to me. You are the only one out here. Mill, the secretary just stepped out for a minute. I'm sure she'll be right back. Karen, then why the hell are you behind the counter? Mill, because my grandson ran back here. He's only 2 and doesn't know better just yet. Sorry. Karen, whatever, just get behind the computer and book me an appointment before I have you fired. At that point the actual secretary walked into the room. Secretary, sorry for taking so long back there. Karen, it's about time you came. Fire her. She points at Mill. Secretary looking really confused. She doesn't work here, she's just waiting for her daughter to finish her appointment. But I am back now and am able to help with whatever you need. Karen with a nasty look on her face. Yeah, fine, whatever. I need to book an appointment. So they booked her appointment and she left. My little man apparently ran behind the counter again and the secretary said, aren't you the cutest worker we have here?" I finished my appointment and on the way home Mill told me this story and asked me to post it for her. So I did. The next one is titled, Karen Gets Put Down by a Soldier. So I, 25ym German soldier, was shopping some food for dinner at the local supermarket. Usually I stop there 2-4 times a week on my way home in full uniform. That is why often some elderly persons ask me to help them with things like getting them something from the top shelf or putting them a 6-pack of 1.5L water bottles in their cart, which is no problem for me at all, and often I ask them if they need help with putting it in their car, cause it's no big deal for me. Now to Karen, it was one day when I helped an old grandma putting some heavy groceries in her car, and after I finished I moved back to mine when I heard a lady behind me with that typical Karen voice, "Now that you're done you can help me shopping." Me, who is irritated cause I'm dressed in full uniform, says politely, "No sorry, I can't help you, as you can obviously see I don't work here." That was not the correct answer. She gets louder and said, "I pay taxes so you work for me." That is somehow true but no, and I said that to her and started to move over to my car. That is when I felt a very hard grip on my shoulder and out of reflex I grabbed her arm and slammed her on the parking lot, which caused her a big bloody nose. After a lot of screaming from her and a large conversation with the shop staff and some surrounding PPL who called the police, who looked at the CCTV, I pressed charges on her for assaulting me, and she although got banned from the shop. The next one is titled, I Don't Work Here, Lady Who Works Here. This happened to my husband at the annual corporate party for my job a few years ago. Dress code is typically casual as my job is pretty buttoned up during work hours. It was a buffet-style food service, but for some reason that year they had servers filling drinks and whatnot at the tables where people sat to eat. Instead of waiting for a server to bring us waters, my husband just went to go get some. When he reached the table in the back of the room where the drinks were, he grabbed us 2 water bottles and started to head back to our table. I saw a lady who was a part of the serving team stop him, take the bottles of water out of his hand and walk away. After she left, he grabbed some more waters and walked back to our table. I asked him what happened and he said, "She thought I worked here and told me table number 15 needed silverware and took the waters out of my hand and left." My husband was wearing blue jeans and a black t-shirt that had Wakanda written in the Wu-Tang font. The servers were definitely all in slacks and button-up shirts with their company logo on them. I have no idea how she thought he was a server. We still laugh about how table 15 never got their silverware. We didn't see her for the rest of the night, but I wonder if she realized her mistake and avoided us. Note, the drink table was not in a special area, it was open for anyone to walk up to it. The next one is titled, Nope, Not a Hairstylist. In 2014 my private mobile started ringing with a number I did not recognize. I picked up and a quite old-sounding voice on the other end told me it was high time to cut her hair again and if I could give her an appointment. As I was in no way a hairstylist, I kindly told her she had the wrong number. She apologized and hung up. A minute later, my phone started ringing again. I told her again, sorry, but wrong number, and hung up. Just a minute later, my phone started ringing again. This time she was rather desperate. BC, she just couldn't reach her hairdresser and she didn't understand. BC, it always worked and why didn't it work now, and she really didn't want to bother me like that, but, you know, she was 90 years old and just this new technology and everything. So I asked her for the number of her hairdresser. Turned out, it had the same digits as my mobile number, but it was a landline. She always calls her hairdresser from her landline so she doesn't have to dial the area code, at least that's how it works here in Germany. But this time she had called from her new mobile. Turns out, her mobile number has the same prefix as mine. As the mobile company couldn't connect to any number without an area code, they just connected to mine. BC, it was the same company and the same digits. So I explained this to her and that she always has to dial the area code first when on mobile or use the landline. She thanked me and hung up. 10 minutes later she called me again, thanked me again and talked a little about her grandkids. Since then she has called me at least 4 times a year, in varying time intervals. BC, sometimes she forgets and uses her mobile without the area code. We always had a laugh and chatted for a minute. The calls eventually stopped and I was quite sad, but understandably, she was already 90 years old in 2014. Imagine my surprise when last month my phone rang and she asked me for an appointment. She has to be 96 by now. I don't think she remembered me, who can blame her at that age, but still was so sweet apologizing and thanking me for my explanation. So no, I don't work there, lady, but thanks for your calls anyway. The next one is entitled Karen pushes me to the ground over a free drink, so I 14YOF work part-time at a friend's parents' store so I get to hang out with my friend and they get an extra employee. I usually love it, they are really friendly and I feel like I am part of the family almost. However, today I had my first interaction with a Karen. She came into the store and for this week they were raising money for charity, so whenever you buy a sandwich you get a free drink if you donate anything. So Karen came in and grabbed a sandwich and a phone cable. I scanned both and tried to let her know about our drink deal, but she just sighed and the conversation went like this: "Kay, look little girl, I am a regular, I think I would know if there was a deal on, don't you?" I, trying my best to be polite, "Yes ma'am, however it is only on for this week, so unless you came in yesterday, today was Tuesday, you would be unaware of this offer." Kay, rolling her eyes and hissed, "How dare you talk back to me, get me a manager." At this point my friend's mum has heard my situation and came out to help me. "FM, may I help you ma'am?" "Kay, this little girl is trying to tell me about some silly offer you probably don't even do." "FM, which offer was it?" "Me, donate for a free drink Kay, if you donate it's not free." "FM, please lower your voice ma'am or I will have to ask you to leave Kay, fine keep your sucky sandwich." Throws sandwich and charger on floor, me, bends down to pick this up Kay, screams, "This kid's assaulting me," and pushes me to the ground before running out. I was fine, just a little shaken up, but really, all I did was offer her a free drink if she donates. People are confusing. The next one is titled, IDWH but I do work. Here, I'll start by saying sorry about any typos, English is not my first language. I work in a rent-a-car company, and my office is situated at a big entrance-exit of an underground car park. Now, I work alone in this office. It's a small square, glass-walled office, pretty much in the corner of the entrance, and every day I get dozens of people who think this belongs to the park and it's the place to pay for the car tickets from inside the park. That's fine, I always tell people that no, this is a rent-a-car and I do not work for the park, but the place to pay is, insert way here, and most people understand and thank me. Some looked pissed off as if I just wasted their time, but that's okay, no biggie. Ironically, as I am typing this out, 3 people showed up asking me to do the payment for their tickets. Now, my boss ordered me to give out flyers at the entrance of the park. We got authorization from the park's owner, so now I pass most of my days just standing there, giving out flyers to every single car that shows up, and every time someone walks up to the office I just walk back inside and well, rent them a car. Pretty explanatory what I do. Now the park's name is a very long name, and it's not something you can easily confuse with my rent-a-car company's name, plus my work uniform is a super bright orange polo with the name of the company stamped right in the middle of my chest and my back, in this white that reflects all the sunlight. This thing is 100% not easy to miss or get confused at all. Also, the name of the park is splattered in the entrance in a big welcome sign. And on this very hot sunny day, literally yesterday, while chilling and giving out my innocent flyers, this old man approached me. We'll call him of, which stands for old fart, and me for, well, me. This happened in Portuguese, so I'm gonna give my best to translate. Of, hey you kid. I'm 21 but sure, compared to him I'm a kid I guess. Me, MMM? Yes? Of, here is my ticket and €5, go pay for it and bring it back fast. Me, so I'm sorry, but I don't work for the park, I work in. He cuts me off, of, yay, excuses, shut up and do your job, that's what I am paying you for. Me, taken aback by how rude this old man just was. Sir, once again, I do not work for the park, I work there, points at office, it's a rent-a-car. Cuts me off again, of, listen here crafty kid, I'm 71 years old and I know this conversation way better than you. You're just trying to avoid doing work, cause you think you are so smart. Now get my ticket right now or I'm getting you fired. That escalated quickly. He used a lot of Portuguese swear words in the whole sentence, which I'm not even gonna bother to put here because Portuguese works that way and it's not easy to translate. I understood there was not gonna be any reasoning with this man and I was very taken aback by how he just exploded on my face that I just gave up to try and be reasonable. So me, lol no. Yay, I say, lol, out loud, sometimes, judge all you want. Of, excuse me. I said now you crap tea kid. Me, I said no, date, which literally means uncrap yourself. That's a common Portuguese saying that pretty much means deal with it yourself. By this point more people had gathered trying to calm the down, while he kept on ranting how I was gonna get fired and I would regret ever saying no to him, and how I was being a stupid kid, etc. One of the people calming him down walked up to me and asked why I refused to do the payment for his ticket, which I just calmly replied, me, I do not work for the park, I work, points at the rent-a-car there, which has nothing to do with the park. Look, I pointed at my shirt's name, pointed at the store's name in the big glass window, and then at the big board with the park's name. Me, see. I'm not refusing to make a payment, I literally don't work for the park. The bystander looked at me, apologized, then turned back to the OV and just said, okay grandpa, let's go, he clearly doesn't work for the park. As they were walking the other way, I could still hear him shout and scream swears at me as they echoed from inside the park. I told my boss what happened, few hours later, and he just laughed, telling me why I didn't tell the OV to suck it and F off sooner. My boss is great. The next one is titled, I must have one of those faces. Not today, Satan. I have been mistaken for an employee more times than I can count. Doesn't matter the store, time of day, what I'm wearing, someone will ask for help. My fiancé didn't believe me at first, but now that we grocery shop together he has noticed how often someone will ask me where something is or if such a thing is in stock. A few times I can reason away as a stranger asking another stranger for help. Most of these cases are lil old folks who just want to get their stuff and leave or can't reach something high up. Other times I put down to having a generally friendly face despite my best attempts at developing RBF. More often than not it's some moron who doesn't give a good galdarn what plebby helps them, only that they need help right now. This is the third type. So I'm in the store, I have a basket over my arm and I'm checking my list when dude walks up very close to me, no mask, and asks if I can call someone to the sporting goods area. I am in the plumbing area, wearing a dress and sandals and my very cute Pikachu mask. I'm used to responding to strangers' demands for help and politely tell him I don't work at the store, but I just saw an employee one aisle over that should be able to help. He stares at me, long enough that I'm beginning to suspect he didn't hear me. I go to repeat myself and his face goes full on dark red. Y'all know where this is going. He does his little rant about how he needs help and is it really so hard for me to take a second and walk to the counter with him and I shouldn't be on my phone at work anyways. Again, I've heard it all before in some way or another, so I just roll my eyes and walk away. Big mistake apparently. He grabs my shoulder and spins me around so fast I drop my phone and my basket. I'm not a big person and I have some history that makes this not a good idea on dude's part. Some warrior spirit takes over my body and I grab his fingers and wrench him back while releasing a primordial scream that would have sent every demon scurrying back into hell. He tries to jump back but I bend his fingers so quickly I feel the knuckles pop and he is looking wide-eyed between me and two now limp fingers on his hand. I too am stunned at what I've done and don't move. Remember that employee one aisle over that could have helped? At some point, probably after I screamed, he came to investigate and is suddenly right next to me asking what was going on. Dude is cradling his hand and yells, "She broke my F***ing hand." I am starting to feel my anxiety and embarrassment flare up and quietly pick up my phone and basket from the floor. The employee is radioing a manager and I just start putting my stuff back in my basket. Dude is yelling and won't let the employee see his hand. I stand back up and wait, for what or why my lil brain doesn't know, I have reverted back to a 10-year-old who's been sent to the principal's office. The manager summons the police officer who has been staking out our grocery store since lockdown. Manager gets dude a mask and brings the first aid kit while the cop asks what happened. Statements are taken, dude is calmed down, and I'm asked to wait in the manager's office. I'm stuck in there for close to 3 hours until the officer comes to ask if I want to press charges. Stunned, I quickly say no without thinking, not that I would press charges, but even hours later I'm embarrassed and feel like I'm in trouble. She says all right, I'm free to go. Turns out I was assaulted and defended myself, per the security footage and the employee that was one aisle over. He had heard me and dude talking and then dude yelling, then my tiny girl voice ring out a defiant tiger roar, so he backed up what the video showed. I had dislocated 2 of dude's fingers and somehow had dug my nails into his hand enough to draw blood. He had been told in no uncertain terms I did not work there and WTF was wrong with him grabbing someone like that? Even if I had been an employee, he would have been in serious trouble, and he was lucky I didn't want to press charges. To quote the wonderfully funny John Mulaney, whose comedy specials I binged when I got home that night, so I grabbed my stuff and I left. Thank you for watching, and please post some bear emojis in the comments, and subscribe if you enjoy my content.